Okay, so like you know, the way in that right now is that like maybe like Gilbert having like enhanced performance, so power that would be like maybe Gilbert actual perfect in the known of power. Also the my potential like I'm remembering like before like Gilbert enhanced performance attack like totally off or like the light attack coming from like the sword of Fanatio and definitely I'm considering that enhanced armament attack being like powerful attack from Kirito that probably striking Fanatio and turning Fanatio unconscious. Definitely my position. Especially because like the kids don't genuinely like especially because Fanatio used to be like Liana, but you know definitely Kirito would care too much about like Fanatio's like survival. So like definitely Kirito even while pulling out this like ultimate weapon most likely this enhanced armament ultimate attack. Like even then like Kirito with only doing so with like the actual with the absolute concern to like precisely like not overdo it on his like strength so that that will prevent like the possibility of like from being like struck by like the enhanced armor and the type of Kirito like Fanatio won by like that would be like the highest priority for Kirito right now. So like that's exactly what I'm listening for things to right now to happen like basically Kirito putting in enough just the right amount of strength into like enhance armament attack to precisely turn that Fanatio open point like scenario that I'm offering. So like that's like the scenario that I'm going to talking to. And Kirito right now we are fully aware that he won't be able to like change Fanatio or like get through to Fanatio at all. Unlike the initial red integrity like that Kirito and Vigo had faced off in like so that basically this the electric press strategy that I'm going to run the front. So like that way, like Fanatio losing to Kirito and Fanatio turning on 40%. And Kirito and you just still deciding to like keep moving forward and Kirito will be like going so with like that with hope that he would be able to like basically Kirito he would be exactly be able to like make it to like the precise floor on top of like the very top floor of each and other when they're in like possibly getting like to hands on that better size memory restoring item. And that way like him being able to like restore like the memory of Fanatio. Restore back like the memory of Fanatio that has to like basically like the has to like basically the truth that he's actually not Fanatio but like actually Liana. It's definitely my personal even though Kirito would be like moving forward with that hope definitely but to bring that attempt of Kirito to totally backfire is like the scenario that I'm not up against. Definitely with like and since it to my personal theory evolution that like with like the neons from like the after wheel and integrating into like the central cathedral building like so it's only putting like then by the time Kirito would be like returning back putting like by then from like the top of the central cathedral like by then unfortunately only putting that maybe like Fanatio would be like the unconscious Fanatio would be certainly affected by like the minions and taken into like the after phase where like precisely there was this significant into the impression that Fanatio would be precisely there within like the after phase would be when where like Fanatio would be precisely meeting that precise mysterious person, that mysterious person in like Fanatio life that Fanatio in the past have lost against and have this kind of like a swap to settle against and basically that person would be being specifically to my person to remember so that like that person would most likely the silver dragon character is like from like the legend is definitely my person to remember. Okay, so like definitely my person to remember prediction right now for like for people to like know more about like the internal status of the game that they might like the comment of the interview and that it was probably looking forward to eventually meeting with the precisely eventually and not being precisely as the agreement with the as would be currently definitely like the official name of commander currently not like the projection and the agreement of the information. So right now would be like what you're trying to do right now might be totally unaware of this is the agreement of the different. That's like what they would be like totally hoping for like the someone who for like that person who would be like accepted of as like the commander, official commander of the Green Division, as like it's when you those are only expecting some mysterious figure like but I'm those are only hoping that the guy's commander eventually ending up being precisely added. It's definitely my big dream. Yeah, so like definitely another thing that I'm right now is certainly for like crypto to like proceed in like trading scenario and that way. But like I'm also praying like the moment Fanatio would be like coming alive, like still I'm also praying like Fanatio at that point would have probably lost all her morale after like losing to Kirito. And so like I'm also totally praying for her like no matter what Kirito would be even talking and telling her like I'm also praying her mindset to like definitely not change, and I'm also praying her Fanatio totally taking the decision to like basically receive the eventual punishment from Canada for letting like for losing to that Kirito and Yuzo. So that as an internet night for like totally being unable to desktop Kirito and Yuzo. So that that would be most likely the decision currently exactly like the very first of the night that I'm personally also correcting out of like a Fanatio as well. It's definitely one of those generation. But like the only difference would be like I'm considering when it comes to like the Red Dead Night, I'm still taking the person to generation that like that is initial they realize from like the beginning clause of the sense of that like he would definitely be making his like surprise and unexpected entrance as like that absolute failure for Kirito and Yujo precisely. It's like my personal impression, and it would be precisely most likely during like while Kirito and Yujo be usually making it to like the very top floor of the sense of Kazuya. And there I'm considering like a fight between like the duo like Kirito and Yujo versus either Quinola or like the intention Italis like the scenario that I'm going to do. It will be either Ben or like I'm going to it will be after like maybe Kirito and Yuzo like maybe like after like Kirito most likely using that short sword of like of that basically the Cardinal had given to Yuzo that Yuzo might have been only expecting on precisely using on Alice that Campbell something like uh in between like that whole fight like chaos situation against like fight against the between a lamb of the keep probably taking the decision to like use that precise weapon against like precisely Greenland getting linked that way look like Cardinal. This is also like other possibilities and then so like maybe even in such a scenario and those different Kito and Fujo at that point the only thing that they have finally succeeded in like stopping Quinella, but still and those different Quinella still somehow being able to like and that way like Kito and Fujo are only feeling that they have won like the whole battle against Quinella and like Kito and Fujo was waiting to like the floor about that from to precisely get that whole memory of storing icon and both different precisely by during that within that time like Amazon Bank and still somehow managing to like reconcile from like that um, linked and trapped state and effects of that short so and or like figuring out a way to only take advantage of like that linked state with like a cardinal and there's only putting anywhere like Quinola definitely and at that point, I was developing while most likely while Kirito used to searching for that site, like number of storing item on like the very top floor. And like at that point is when those were only something like only unexpectedly suddenly Kirito and Kirito only being cornered by either Quinada or like the interview like Alice. Like the eventual topic scenario that I was delivering that day, during that time would be especially when I was only expecting for like most likely the right day night being revealed to have by then like having had like a change in his like mindset and basically him basically sacrificing his life to like help his join you either him sacrificing his life to like most likely him sacrificing his life to like allow the corner Kirito and Yuzo to like be able to like escape and like at that point, if the individual still somehow like, getting with like and it's like one talking to that ambassador or like ambassador by then like the minions from the disaster way showing up to that sort of location and abducting Alice and like maybe like it would be during that whole chaos that basically maybe like once like it then it will be cornered by like the minions from the disaster so maybe that like possibly like the rebellion and side of it would like to like as like Alice would be taken away by those minions abducted and taken away by those minions and like Kirito and Yuzo would be trying to like chase after Alice but like right then like them being cornered by the minions and maybe right then like from behind like basically the rebellious grenade like showing up and basically giving it to everything and sacrificing his life to like a left and allow it to usual like it's also like a one among like, the multiple possible mission scenarios that enter zero different and my positive enter. Okay, so like the flaming into the impression right now with like neither with both Jericho and you don't only being unable to like heal Fanatio and that kind of Fanatio and like the virtue but like definitely my positive impressions that like Fanatio still could definitely survive. And like considering right now the situation would be like Kirito would have like only like a few of his like a lifespan, like very little of his like a lifespan left currently. Definitely my person to understand and considering them those like totally currently totally being even out of like portions of like lifespan restored items. It's also definitely my person to understand. So like at that point, like the only choice like you don't be like still having like a lot of his like lifespan left even after sharing it like transferring a bit of it with like Kirito to save character as well. It's definitely my perspective. So like right now I'm considering Yujo totally getting that whole moment of like where Yujo would be like the forced to like basically that to basically remove his like extreme dislike to or like set aside for the like extreme dislike towards like the internet by like Yujo. Kirito I'm considering right now to totally tell Yujo that basically only Yujo can save Fanatio and basically, like Kirito totally initially totally unable to like agree with like Kirito, but like about the Kirito totally eventually succeeding in like convincing because like Fanatio would be on like the very verge of like that stepping up into that. So like Kirito would be like uh, totally still like with like absolute seriousness. Kirito would be like telling you that basically to see her as like human and to save her as a like human and basically that way like Kirito succeeding in like the serious Kirito only succeeding in like finally convincing Yujo to at least a certain extent into like that way Yujo in a way being like probably forced to basically transfer his like Yujo that way for the first time in his life like basically after having that extreme dislike being formed in like Yujo ever since like witnessing Alice being taken away in like the distant past like after like witnessing shockingly witnessing Alice being forcefully taken away by that deadly night. Like ever since then, like that extreme dislike that remained within towards like the entire night within Uzo, like Uzo being forced to like at least temporarily set that aside and basically due to Kirito and basically Uzo like basically transferring his like a bit of his own lifespan to like basically save Fanatio. It's like the scenario that I'm going to developing, and it will be like a total struggle for like Yuzo mentally for like for for Yuzo to like make himself do that is definitely also like the scenario that I'm going to developing and my thing and that way Yuzo being like the one to like they save the entire night Fanatio. It's like the scenario that I'm going to developing and my thing to and also personally only think that way that even after like Ujo would be like saving Fanatio that way like I'm also think even after Fanatio goes that way like Fanatio would be like totally like not at all showing any sort of like gratefulness towards like Ujo at all for saving her life especially also made us remember and like Fanatio would be like totally showing that like towards like Yujo and that will like once again like disturb Yujo and like kind of like trigger Yujo but like Kirito and the different things. Once again telling most likely at that point telling Yujo to like stay cool, to like basically calm down and stay cool and basically that way like Kirito's struggling in a way struggling but like eventually succeeding in like controlling and calming down Yujo and basically like Kirito and Yujo moving ahead while like precisely Fanatio would be like staying right there, like awaiting like the eventual punishment from Juliana. It's like the scenario that I'm living right now and my person to render. Okay, so like I definitely my person to the question right now, but the Kirito making the reveal that basically Fanatio has to live to already lived to 100 years, like I'm just on different things. It might have to do with like one of the two possibilities. One possibility is basically might be like Kirito adding up like the years that Liana had lived plus and combining that with like the present day with the years that have passed until like the present day as like maybe like it might be adding up the time when like it might have last seen Liana too like and Kirito might be thinking along the lines of it like without much delay after like the last time Kirito had seen Liana might have been like totally been converted by Queenella into Fanatio. So from that point on to like the present day, like adding up the lifespan of like Liana, the life that Liana lived as Liana and then Liana lived as Fanatio might be what it will be collectively talking about as like Fanatio having lived 100 years already. It's definitely my personal theory impression as for like the one possibility or like the second possibility is basically like it might be Fanatio herself like that as basically my personal impression maybe like for the positives like since like the last time Kirito and you have seen Vienna. Since then, like I'm participating, and since then to like the present day, like 100 years might have already passed in like the virtual world of Underworld. This is like the it's already written that like the time in like the virtual world of Underworld like passes way faster than in like the actual real world. So like I'm participating, maybe like even the time and years might pass quickly in like the virtual world of Underworld. Still, like aging might not progress in such in such an extreme fast pace or anything in that even in like the virtual world, the quantum world, is definitely my personal language. Like it will be either one of these two possibilities, like connecting to that Fanatio having lived to 30 years, that gives a review right now is definitely my personal impression. Okay, so definitely my personal impression right now is that basically like the whole shouting to like the other Indians and like the priest and the monks to save Fanatio by Kirito, like that whole shouting would be like an absolute point of shouting. It's definitely my personal impression, especially because like I'm like the different one of the two positives, like either like I know like the priest or like the monk, or like the other interaction. I think that person will come there wouldn't be even be so far away on like the even higher floors in like the central cathedral that they won't be hearing characters shouting and cry of help to save Vanadio. That's like one possibility. The other possibility is that like even if like the other possibility is that them actually hearing Kirito shouting, but still them not even caring at all for like saving like their comrade in like the night like Fanatio, because like for them like it would be all about like Quinella, so the best orders that Quinella might have given them, like, and they would be like only fearfully like only and not just fearfully, but like the only thing with their mind would be to just follow the exact orders that Quinella has given them, and that would be precisely to like wait at their respective floors until like into and you joke this one up to like bring them down. Like other than that, like nothing else wouldn't even matter to them at all. So like basically either like them hearing like if those cry for help to save an you and then decide, and them not even caring at all about it, or like the other possibility like them not even being able like here like the cry for help for Kirito, from Kirito to save an you certainly not the even this. But again then certainly like the scenario that I'm totally putting right now is that basically right now with like absolutely no one, like no internet, no there's no monks like showing up to save Fanatios, like the scenario that I'm saying. So like at that point I'm just thinking precisely Kirito being like desperate, and I'm just totally putting Kirito will be currently having like only a tiny bit of like HP left, like but that the Hugo would have gave to Kirito to save Kirito's life just now. It's definitely my like the desperate Kirito I'm just putting right now, telling Hugo that basically that Kirito's like placing all his hopes on Yujo to like save, to bring down Queen and save like the human traffic of like the virtual world of Underworld and everything, and Alice and everything. So like Kirito saying that, and Kirito about to like basically transfer like the tiny bit of remaining HP of Kirito into like precisely Fanatio, which is like that way Kirito attempting to like basically take his own life, and that way in order to like save Fanatio. It's like the scenario that I'm preparing, but like as Chicho will be about to perform that transfer spell, like I'm preparing right then, like I'm preparing, you will be totally shocked at like the extremes that Chicho is going to like basically say like what Yujo would be totally seeing as like an enemy in the night like Fanatio. So like I'm preparing at that point, Yujo totally mostly telling Kirito as if like shouting as if like are you crazy to like Kirito, and basically I'm preparing Yujo totally like attacking Kirito, like stupid precisely that way stop Kirito from performing that well, and then I'm to bring Yujo straight away. Yujo definitely would be having like way more HP than Kirito right now. It's definitely not going to. So like that attempt of Kirito to like to help Fanatio, that extreme attempt of Kirito to help Fanatio basically forcing Yujo to like basically actually share not share but transfer his own Yujo's own HP to a certain amount of like Yujo's own HP to like Fanatio. And that way, that would be precisely how Fanatio would be saved and Fanatio would be surviving. It's definitely a possibility and picture. And still, I'm supporting Fanatio to totally not at all be grateful at all to Yujo. And on top of that, I'm also supporting Fanatio to be like extremely possibly even be embraced towards like the towards like Yujo for like saving Fanatios as well. It's also like the scenario that I'm totally not different and not going to that. Obviously, like my person theory and prediction right now, and so like the other possibility as to like how Fanatio might be getting saved and surviving like personally totally protecting and that's like more like a remote of like a possibility that I'm going to do and that will be specifically through that precise right in the history night like who would have like by now already would have had like a change in the like mind to like basically stay right there in his like so in like the center of the to like patiently wait for like the punishment from Juvenile instead like I'm going to bring eventually him having his like mind changing and basically him totally deciding to like help kids join user out with their perceived like basically their memory of it and for that like basically like him putting his like hope and faith and him starting that redemption I totally blinded or like believing in Kirito in Kirito's words possibly they are being like truth in Kirito's words and that way that him that way having a change in his mind and him already as like Kirito would be shouting out for like the Indian for that to help Fanatio like at that point like by especially during that time, like he would have like already have had like already even before that he would have had like that render Indian I would have had this like mind change that basically he would have made it all the way since like Kirito as well as he's I think currently in like the 25th floor of the center like he would have already by now made it to like the 20th floor of the center cathedral. What I'm going to say when he would have only heard like Kirito's cry for help to like probably save Indian Night Fanatio. So like at that point I'm going to bring him totally charging in and rushing into like the scene and basically it and that way it's being like the red Indian Night that Kirito and Hugo had fought in like the very initial floors of Little Center Cathedral, being like the precise savior of Fanatio and like him basically either like and most likely, like Eternite solely would be having like a unique healing spell that neither Kirito nor Kyujo would be possessing, especially not of the So like that through that unique healing spell, like the Red Eternite like healing and saving Fanatio, like the other possible scenarios that I'm bringing in the conference. Okay, so like definitely no the interaction right now is that like since like Fanatio's current name is basically Fanatio since like she was like the last number and since Roger been revealed that basically like that Queenella like even Alice's like current name is like Alice Windows is like around 30 like I'm totally wrong about 30 because of that like I'm still thinking to myself in the impression that like Queenella by now in total might have only converted like 30 humans into like Indian items and hence why like the highest number so far reviewed being like around 30 since it's around 30 it's definitely my percentage anyway. So like around 30 humans might have so far been converted to indefinite after having their memory reached by precisely Vienna. Definitely my percentage anyway. So especially the like Fanatio like name is like Fanatio synthesis to like so Fanatio might have definitely been among like the very early human conversion into internet that Vanilla might have done. It's definitely not something around. So like especially like Vanilla has converted about 30 humans into internet and also something like the whole conversion process might have precisely began as soon as like the last time that Kirsto had seen Liana since then, like I'm going to bring like without much delay, like Diana might have been like converted into like into like an integrity and have might have had her name changed to Fanatio. Certainly, my person to remember. So like right before Liana's, there was someone that like was like the first experiment of like Quinella that basically Quinella had basically changed into like an integrity and that will be that relationship chapter will be having like percentage one. Definitely, my person to remember. So like my consider impression right now is that like that very first like instance human that like UNL that's my sort of really converted into like an internet sort of very first internet like converted internet who would be like definitely having like the name in name like synthesis once like that character I'm considering to no matter whoever is that person is like I'm considering that character would definitely be like the second strongest internet after and that's definitely my person to remember. I'm considering currently in like Queenla's army, like internet army, like Alice would be like her main right hand woman and like a main command internet would be precisely Alice and Alice would be like the current strongest internet in like a Queenla's army, definitely my person to remember. But like as for like the second strongest internet I'm considering it to be precisely it is like very first human that was converted into like an internet with like who will be having that in name of that versus one would be like the second strongest is definitely internet, definitely members into members. And also like my passenger impressions are like that precise very first human that was converted into an Indian. That precise first Indian converted into Indian with like the end name synthesis one would be like the precise opponent that Kirito and Yugo would be having to like face off against before making it to like the very top floor of like the central cathedral. And the right before making it to like the very top floor of the central cathedral, like this would be like that precise Indian ultimate opponent that Kirito and Yugo had to like fight and or and defeat and bring down in order to get past like that floor and make it to like the top of like the sort of gather of just like the scenario that I'm looking and my person to convert. And in like the top floor will be where like I'm certainly also expecting like the Interferonites Alice to be for me. Certainly also my certain event. Okay, so like basically my particular impression right now is like basically Kirito's that current act of like extreme empathy of like saving Fanatio through the short sword. Like basically that act of Kirito would be like something that Yugo would be like probably undigestible for Yugo. Like Yugo would be like deep down Yugo would be totally against that act of Kirito. And I'm considering that this single act of Kirito of saving Fanatio to eventually spiral into like a clash being formed between like a quarrel and a clash between formed between like Kyujo and Kirito eventually, especially my particular especially because like both Kirito and Kyujo had like their two short swords given by his cardinal. So like I'm the since that's now revealed under the protecting like since like the Kirito's short sword was like intended by Kirito and Yuzo to be precisely used against like the administrator, while Yuzo's like short sword was precisely intended to be used against like the integrity knight Alice. Like I'm totally protecting that like that hope of Yuzo of like eventually basically being able to like use that short sword against like the integrity knight Alice and basically that way stopping being able to like stop and bring eventually be able to like say, bring Alice under control and save Alice. Like basically all that hope that user would be currently itself like already would be having in his mind would all be like crushed unintentionally by Kirito's like the eventual scenario that I'm going to bring. So like I'm personally delivering eventually like once like right now I'm delivering maybe if like about like by the time like it's going to be make it to the top or like at that point I'm delivering most likely maybe like there will be like Quinella as well as like Alice like Quinella like a right hand woman like command main command Alice as like the interview Alice River. So like maybe I'm preparing maybe for like even a double battle. So where like it would be like one side it would be the team of like Kitto and Yugo versus like on the other side it would be like the team of like Quinella and like the interview Alice. So like in that fight like I'm preparing Yujo would be totally struggling and Yujo would be desperately trying to like use that like short sword and that way to like stop Alice. So like Yujo would be like totally getting his emotion getting in the way and like Yujo won't be able to like attack Alice at all. Like, bring himself to be to attack Alice at all. Using use the sword against Alice at all. It's definitely my positive impression to and the bring Yujo totally and fully focusing on like blocking and just dodging each and every single attack of Alice were like Alice was with the intention Alice won't be at all holding back at all. So I'm considering on one side like you're totally struggling and you're totally patiently waiting for like the right time and right moment to like, totally use that short sword and link Alice to precisely Cardinal would be like that absolute opportunity and like that absolute openings to be able to do that would be what like Yujo would be totally looking forward to as like Yujo would be fighting off against Alice while Crypto would be like the one that would be fighting off against Cardinal. That's definitely the scenario that I'm preparing. But like as like the fight progresses, like I'm preparing like Kirito totally shouting out to like Kirito that basically like Cardinal would be I mean like Kirito would be fighting off against Fuel. So like I'm preparing Fuel is going to be so exceptionally awkward and strong that basically Kirito would be struggling to like even hot dog like Vinala. It's like that around like the scenario that I'm preparing. So with like Kirito and Yujo, Kirito having like a bunch of like flaws solved against like in like the fight against like Twin that like the Vincent scenario that I'm also bring. So like I'm also bring the fight progressing and eventually reaching a point where like Kirito would be like getting that absolute yeah, where Yujo even after all that time passing like basically Yujo won't be able to like get this like opportunity to like be able to like use the short sword on the Indefinite Alice. But like in the case of Kirito, Kirito will be getting that absolute opportunity to use that short sword on Queen Ella. But like at that point, like since like Kirito has already used that short sword on precisely like Fanatio, like basically since like at that point, since because of that, like solely because of that, like since at that point, like it would be Yuzo alone that would be having like the short sword with him. Like I'm also bring at that point for Kirijo to only shout out to Yuzo to like pass over that precise short sword and like I'm also bring Yuzo initially not at all agreeing because like you for Yuzo like Alice would be like the only thing that matters. So like I'm also bring still like Kirito adamant, being adamant and like shouting out repeatedly towards like Yuzo and Yuzo totally in a confused manner, like basically throwing that short sword to Kirito, and basically Kirito using that short sword on precisely Quinella and linking Quinella to precisely Cardinal, like the scenario that I'm referring to, like from that point on, like basically since like Yuzo not being able, like the situation would be Yuzo not being able to like use the short sword on like Alice. So like at that point, that would be the point when I'm referring like that whole quarrel that I'm only referring for to happen between like Yuzo and Kirito. It's like the scenario that I'm referring, and even with after like using the short sword on Quinlan, still I'm referring Quinlan still to still being able to like outsmart that situation and basically Quinella still making it her return without much delay back in like point like the scenario that I'm delivering and that's the whole situation resulting in like Kirito and Yujo being forced to like basically retreat from the temple cathedral and maybe by then like even like the minions might show up and they might have like Alice and like maybe even such a scenario that I'm delivering so like the whole situation getting turning into like a confused manner with like Kirito and Yujo not being able to like certainly Yujo not being able to like stop Alice and basically not being able to like losing his chance that way like being able to like use the short sword on Alice and that way being able to like restore Alice's memory even after them reaching so close with like there will be like a tiny floor like right above like the top floor of the cathedral with like where like supposedly that magical item would be so like basically like them maybe they might get like the magical item or they might not like regardless of the for instance like Alice would be like taken away abducted the by the minions of like the Dark Way by then like I'm suffering like Yujo totally getting extremely angry, frustrated and angry with like Kirito at that point. And Yujo totally blaming Kirito and that way I'm suffering like a whole quarrel being formed between like the Lord best friends Kirito and Yujo from that point on. It's definitely my person to remember and that quarrel I'm suffering to like to keep going on even all the way until like they would be even the two of them would be even making it to like the last of way to save Alice and basically like even while all that would be happening like still like the quarrel would be going on between like his and his and considering it what to be like only like the distant future that I'm going to be like finally eventually like Hitcho and Yujo would be like totally finally realizing that like the mistake was like most likely on was actually on like Yujo's side, that Yujo was totally being selfish while Kirito was like acting out in doing things in like like the absolute selflessness to like save like the entirety of like the human while Yujo was like selfishly only prioritizing Alice's like safety alone, like so, on saving Alice alone. So like basically that way Yujo eventually finally realizing his like selfishness at a distant point like the future and that way like Yujo totally saying his, sorry to like Kirito and then like that way like the front being like once again like the whole quarrel that way being over and like Yujo and Kirito once again being front uh, as, back to being the absolute the friendship like in like the Disney future like the eventual scenario that I'm still sitting on and my person to render. And so like my person remember is just definitely that it's got to be like only at that point in like the distant future for like once like finally Kirito those like friendship would be restored like it would be only at that point in like the distant future that end of the point Kirito and Yujo like would be like once again like fighting alongside each other as like a team with that absolute team but definitely not the rank. Till then I was supporting like Yujo get only extremely angry and frustrated and totally would be disliking Kirito so much that basically Yuzo would be like, even though Kirito would badly want to like, would be like multiple times would be desperately trying to like make Yuzo understands what exactly that Kirito had done. Like basically, understanding Yuzo totally initially like misunderstanding Kirito as like acting out in like a selfish manner and everything. So like, then that time even like as like it when Yuzo would be making it to like the dark side and all that, like the fights would be happening in like the dark side as well. Like even that entire time like Kirito would be trying to like convince like Yuzo that about like what Kirito did and everything, but like it's not working at all. And this entire time I'm considering like Yujo, like even though Kirito would want like that absolute teamwork with like Yujo and with Kirito be I'm considering Kirito trying to convince Yujo that like for them to like stand the chance of like literally saving Alice and it's like they have to like fight as like a team. So like different still Yujo only defended like in Kirito and like different you are not at all like agreeing to that, and you are deciding to like only fight on his own. And under the current case of for Kiptos only due to like his extreme genuine concern towards like not just Alice but also towards like due to Kiptos only going along with like following Yuzo and going along with like Yuzo, even though Yuzo would be totally doing his absolute best to like hurt Kirito forwards and everything. So like that's like the initial scenario that I'm literally worrying. Until in like subsequent future, like Kito and Yujo would be like finally will be get having like the friendship restored. Like until that point, like Yujo totally refusing to like work alongside to basically fight alongside Kirito as like a team. So like them lacking that entire teamwork in that sword fighting until that point in like subsequent future, like the scenario that I'm literally bringing. I'm not considering. So yeah, so like definitely my Instagram position right now is that like it's like two positive. Like either Cardinal being currently being totally right about like Vanilla being in currently being in the house unawakened state. Or like the other positive that like usually this would be like the time Cardinal might have potentially probably studied Queen as to like the sleep habits and everything. So like it should be like around the first time while Queen would be like probably usually asleep and in like the unawakened state is definitely my recommendation. But like I'm talking about generally Queen might have been like might two positives that I'm going to bring. One positive is that Queen generally even right now would be like totally Cardinal would be exactly right and Queen right now would be like totally in her unawakened state. That's like one positive. The other positive, like basically Quinla might have been in her unawakened state until like Kirito had basically shouted out to help to all the Intertionites and the priests and the monks to like basically help Fanatio. Like that whole shout and cry of like Kirito might not only awaken Quinella from her unawakened state. That's like the other positive that I put. Yet like Quinella only like disguising using that absolute disguise and pretending as if she's in her unawakened state. But by the time Kirito and Yuji will be making it to Quinella very tough flaw is like the scenario, other possible scenario that I'm preparing, but still, like I'm totally protecting like Kipto and Yujo at that point, like totally thinking that Quinla is like, genuinely in her unawakened state, like I'm preparing, but like by the time, so at that point, like Kirito deciding that to not at all use like Yujo's dagger on like Quinla. So like Kirito, as Kirito would be getting close and basically would be about to like stop Quinla or like attack Quinla. That will last second like Quinla basically like attacking Kirito or Yujo. That's like attacking most like Kirito. That's like one possibility that I'm preferring. Or like I'm preferring as Kirito and Yujo will be getting so close to like Quinla to stop Quinla or like attack Quinla. That will last second like totally unexpectedly like both Kirito, neither Kirito nor Yujo were only expecting for like Alice to be present in that surprise room of Quinla and that also like Alice would be definitely the strongest in this unit and like that person commander of like female official commander of like twin definitely not in the convention. So she would be definitely hiding. Alice would be like in the unit, Alice would be definitely hiding in that room of twin so like so let's get to and you will be getting so close to like attack and stop Brenda. That very last second like basically Alice like totally attacking from behind and basically that's totally like at that point still like Queen that's like one positive like we are only setting up such a situation precisely so that like to precisely trap Kirito and users. That's like one possibility that I'm totally only putting. Or the other possibility is like Quinla genuinely even at that spy then like until that point like Quinla genuinely being in her unawakened state, but still that Quinla would be definitely having still her personal protection done by precisely like her command of like Alice like in Deadline Alice would be like since like I'm going to be putting like in Deadline Alice would be her personal commander and I'm going to be putting Alice would be like Twinla would be always keeping Alice like staying like ensure to like always have most of the time have Alice stay in her place roles, especially not to guard her. So like that being like the other possibility, like surprisingly Alice like the night Alice like totally noticing like Kirito and Hugo's like stealthily trying to like enter into like Quinla's room. and trying to like attack Grinda, while Grinda would be genuinely in fact unawakened shape, but like as like its show would be about to attack Grinda, that will last second like Alice totally the Indian Night Alice totally attacking Kirito, and that totally awakening, genuinely awakening like Grinda, and that at that point like Kirito and Yujo totally having their plan backfiring, and Cardinal having their whole plan backfiring, and basically like Kirito and Yujo being in like a trap like situation with like having Grinda on one side and like having like the Indonesian exceptionally strong Indonesian Alice as well on like the other side. So that it will be like one of these two possibilities, definitely my personal theory and prediction. Okay, so like definitely my personal theory and prediction right now is that like definitely the elevator girl will be definitely the next trap set for like both for Kirito and Yujo. Definitely the personal theory and prediction, and especially since like the elevator girl seems to not have like any sort of weapon by her side. Like I'm considering, so definitely I'm considering she would be most likely a spell user. Like she would be like the elevator girl appearance would be like that absolute disguise to like basically keep like to get like a gift and Yujo feel like and that would be like stuck in a trap. And actually, that Salvatore Girl would be actually like an extremely high level and danger, because of the extremely high level and dangerous like taker up. But it's definitely my personal invention. So like I'm preferring like Kirjo definitely like totally having his guard up with like scenario that I'm using, and like especially what I'm also preferring is like how high level and extremely powerful and dangerous big back spell might be like a spell that can be like easily dodgeable. It's definitely not doesn't remember, and hence why she might have taken like the precise then I might have precisely given her like the precise position of like being like the elevator guard of itself as like the fighting position is definitely my personal remembering. So like I'm preferring precisely as like Chieto and Yujo getting into like the elevator like and basically as like the elevator climbs up like and as like the elevator starts like gaining height like at that point I'm just preferring for her to like all of a sudden like totally yeah, until then she would be like casually interacting with the kids and all of a sudden like I'm just preferring her like pulling out like some sort of like a that extremely dangerous sacred art spell and using it to stick to an ego, and especially since like in like that area like that price screen and my personal impression that the price screen or like light around like the elevator would be like the price area where like the whole where like her dangerous like that spell would be like can be precisely see contain things and would be affecting it. So like I'm preparing to precisely contain Kirito and Shudo into that elevator like short space so that like, they won't be able to like dodge or jump away. And so that they will be only affected by the danger second that spell of like that elevator that is definitely my personal emergency. Will be her plan and strategy is definitely of attack is definitely my personal emergency, and I'm preparing her to definitely have like the resistance as well or like the portion of something against that spell as well. It's definitely my or like she might have already performed like another spell precisely on herself to precisely provide that resistance to the precise danger spell that she would be most likely soon would be like attacking Kit and use over. It's definitely my emulation. So I'm preferring still since like Kit would be totally having his like guard of like I'm totally preferring Kit to totally finish the features of like the elevator guard and like Yujo like the scenario that I'm preferring Yujo totally not even suspecting anything even after like the recent attack by like that poison attack. So like my percentage impressions are like even before like getting into like the elevator like skip down with on might have totally studied that elevator girl and might have totally figured out that since she doesn't have seem to have any like swords or any sort of weapon like she would be most likely like sacred art spell user. So like Kirito might have and Kirito might have totally even figured like figured that up to like what kind of attack sacred art spell that she might be only using to like attack Kirito and Wildo. So like I'm also putting Kirito this time like most likely the stealthily using like the barrier and protection to sacred art spell most likely on Kirito. Maybe not most likely on Kirito's like the scenario that I'm considering and that way. Kirito being a resistant to like that dangerous spell of like the elevator once she executes that high level sacred art dangerous spell and only Yujo being affected is like the scenario that I'm separating or like I'm separating this time like it might perform stealthily perform that like a resistance like a spell on both Kit and Yujo product eventually that elevator girl performing her dangerous like spell on Kid individual and like that being totally unaffected on them and basically that elevator girl being confused and that at that point like Kid individual totally stopping her and basically and that when was protecting most likely like Kid individual totally Kid totally defeating that elevator girl and then the different Kid totally like you making like the best use of like the elevator to like basically quickly be get when you go being able to like make it all the way to like the floor right below that's like a right under like the top floor or like the center of the where like where allow the key. That's definitely my technical understand. They're like get when you go making it there and then get when you go like making their ultimate taking time and making their seeing through and brainstorming and trying to like make their ultimate strategic plan to like how exactly so like of course Quinola home like and Quinola to really bring Quinola around like considering most likely Kirito considering the possibility of like Quinola maybe not being in her awakened unawakened state by when they will be entering into like Quinola room or like Quinola being in her unawakened state like uh, and considering the two scenarios and as to like how exactly to like approach the two scenarios, like getting your planning, possibly maybe planning all that and graduating all that out, maybe like that to be revealed before like it will be entering like in last room or like that not being revealed and it only be revealed after like it will be like entering and getting into trouble with like Queen and in the room with like the whole fight between and then later on this being revealed at like basically get when you go having all of the scratches after all this and basically it's like an individual scenario that I'm considering, but still I'm considering different things to like not at all go smoothly at all for like get when you go and things totally backfiring for get when you go. And it will be like the big Q and a that will be eventually getting like the upper hand and I'm considering get when you go be forced to like retreat from like the center. It's definitely the individual scenario that I'm still thinking about and after the ask for Alice, I'm going to bring the independent night Alice definitely being like abducted by the minions who have already infiltrated into like the central Kader building. And that would be precisely how Kirito and Yujo would be like eventually making it and entering and properly and fully entering deep into like the darker place to precisely save as I intended night Alice. So like definitely my and to restore her memories definitely like the event scenario that I'm really going and going to remember. Okay, so like definitely my person that I'm interested right now is that if I live with a girl would be totally lying right now and that she would totally know her actual so name like that basically in like the question as like the elevator girl fight in like the in inverted guard or like quite like in like the central cathedral of like Fiona Lab. When she was once she was the moment she was given that position, Fiona Lab might have also given her a precise name and that precise name would definitely have like the synthesis in her name, original name. Definitely my person to remember. So like if she even reveals that name to Kirito straight away, like it will be like it will be instantly realizing that like she is definitely is one of like the fighting guard of like Finland to bring down Kirito and Yujo. But simply because of this reason, like she would be like totally lying about like her only knowing her name as like the operator. Definitely my person and hence why her eyes move sideways. Definitely my person so like this is my person also, like definitely the Indian impression right now that like it's to even asking like the name of like the elevator girl, like even what might have definitely been like a trap set by Kirito to for like that for the elevator girl. Precisely because like Kirito might have been absolutely sure that that elevator girl might have definitely been like might definitely be like another guard of like Unila precisely being present there to like to definitely take down Kirito and Yudo. Definitely my question during the hence why Kirito might have definitely set up the trap to precisely that elevator girl by asking her name so that like if might have totally expected her to like precisely like when asked her name precisely because like if she says the synthesis name in her true name of like the synthesis name like at that point like her identity will be like revealed and her cover will be blown at that point so like if might have only expected like her to like precisely while Kirito even asked her name it's definitely my consideration. And Crypto might have been patiently wanting her while asking that question. So like considering like the with like her eyes precisely as she might have only told the lie about like her name, her only knowing her name as like the operator and precisely right then like it might have instantly even being able to like realize that she was exactly lying just by seeing her eyes move to that side while she was responding. So definitely my person relationship. Kirito might not totally realize this, and Kirito might be like patiently like this entire time would be like having this like guard up and patiently waiting for like the moment that elevator girl would be like striking and launching attack, trying to launch her attack from Kirito and Yuzo to for Kirito to like to actually stop her and bring her down. That's definitely my person relationship. Also, like my positive impression right now is that like maybe this like the place that elevator girl might actually be like the her name actually be like would be like her end name would be actually be synthesis one definitely my positive. So like she might have been like the very first human that was converted by Quinilla into an entire. That's definitely my personal impression. So like I'm considering she also would be like the second strongest intergenite in like Quinilla's army after like Alice, intergenite Alice is definitely my personal impression. So like she would be like the first person that like Hito and Hugo would definitely have to like defeat in order for them to like even be able to like she would be that last person that was the friendship and you don't be having to like keep it before they will be even able to like make it into like the principles of Canada. That's definitely my positive emergence. Actually, like the Roman Queen, I'm definitely putting like the Indian night has to definitely be present there. So definitely my positive emergence. Okay, so like I definitely my positive impression right now is that like the elevator girl or like the operator right now would have totally like blown her own cover herself like accidentally. Especially the moment she said like basically she would like to like soar the sky with her elevator. So definitely my positive impression, especially because of her herself like basically having told both Kirito and Ego that like she can remember like she was like we have been like working on this like operator elevator and basically as like an operator and she has never left this elevator. Especially because of this reason, like she should logically not be able to like know if you were to should logically not even be able to like know what a sky even is. It's definitely my percentage emission. So like that way, like basically like my percentage emissions that like by herself, like the elevator girl even revealing that she want to like so across the sky with like her elevator stuff. She might not only accidentally totally without realizing might not only blown her cover in front of like Hito and Yujo and right now, I'm considering not just Kirka, but even Hujo as well. Right now, would be totally patiently waiting with both of their guard up, like they would be patiently waiting for like that precise elevator girl operator to like basically bring out her attack and basically for her to like for like the moment she will be like trying to like attack and bring down Kirka and Hujo. So definitely my positive impression. Okay, so like living into something interesting right now for like the elevator girl operator basically dropping off Kito and Hulu on like the jet floor and leaving just like that would be like part of her absolute trick of like a trap set for like Kito and Hulu. Definitely not similar. Especially because like she will be totally expecting like right now I'm considering from like it will be only until like the 80th floor that like an elevator it might appear as if like an elevator can be used uh, to like MK20. So when in actuality like elevator that size exact elevator could be like potentially used even upward even beyond like the 80th floor definitely not the range. So like I'm looking right now precisely Kirito there are definitely steps from like the 80th floor and that would all be part of like the process of like not having steps from like the point where like the where Kirito and Hugo had initially seen like the elevator and all that. It's definitely not in the range. So right now from like the 80th floor, like from like the whole cloud top and considering it and you're like totally climbing up the stairs and like proceeding to like the upward floors like and I'm considering like eventually like I'm considering either I'm considering it would be in like the very 81st floor or like a floor a bit further up after like the 80th floor that I'm considering when Kirito and Yujo would be like totally climbing up the stairs like I'm considering it precisely the precise lift elevator or lift elevator girl like precisely lift operator girl uh, who would have totally disguised as like who would have been totally disguised as like the elevator girl like basically she would be like patiently waiting in that and that floor that like above like the 80th floor precisely to launch her stealthy attack on Kirito and Yujo and she would be totally thinking that basically Kirito and Yujo would be like totally not so like expecting her to be present in that floor, especially since like after like suddenly dropping off Kirchen, she had basically used the elevator and went downward. But they're only putting precisely as like Kirito would and Yujo would be like climbing up the floors after like the floor. Like she would be precisely once again using that precise exact elevator to like go upward and and like the floor about 80th floor would be like each of the floor about like the 80th floor there like the whole uh elevator passing by won't be like visible especially when the emerge. So like I'm referring there would be a secret entrance to like the floor upward from like the agent floor through the elevator. There I'm separating like after dropping off the 20 to like stealthily like that elevator girl would be like climbing upward to that through that elevator would be like reaching that top floor and basically one of the higher up floor after like say floor and basically Darcy would be like basically hiding with that absolute stealth to precisely attack a Kiddo and Yujo once they would be like showing up to that floor through the step. It's like the scenario that I'm referring, but like I'm referring either for Kirito and Yujo or like Kirito definitely would be like expecting her to be precisely present in that upward floor beyond like the ideal floor. And like Kirito would only having started up and would be well and fully prepared for such for her to like show up and try to like for us to like try to launch an ambush attack on Kit 22. And at this time, I was remembering, like, unlike the last time, like, this time it would be like far too, even way more easier for Kirito to like basically stop like that attack of like that elevator girl. So like the scenario that I was remembering and my personal impression. So maybe at that point, like even though Kirito would be like totally breaking like that ambush attack of like that elevator girl by Kirito solely due to Kirito like expecting such an attack. Maybe at that point, even though the ambush attack would be stopped, like ambush bring like an actual original fight, like basically between like that elevator girl versus like the team of Kirito and Kirito. That might also happen because like she might actually be like genuinely seriously strong and would be having like definitely would be most likely having like high level stakeholders well. So also like a possibility that I'm also putting. So like I'm putting two possibilities. Either her being like the integrity knight synthesis one integrity knight of Twinilla integrity knight army. She might be like the synthesis one member, or like she might be like the like unique member of like Twinilla's army that can maybe use like sacred art, high level sacred art spells. Like also like she would be like a spell user if like one possible that I'm delivering or like I'm delivering as like it's when you will be making it to like the floors upward from like 80th floor like all of them like her showing up trying to launch her stealthy ambush attacks while wielding like two swords or something is like the scenario that I'm delivering. But like still like keep not only breaking that ambush attack but still at that point like the whole straightforward like face to face fight happening between like same of Kid and versus like the Intertonight synthesis one like that elevator girl Intertonight like the other possible scenario that I'm not delivering I'm not looking to. Okay, so like definitely I'm just into the impression right now that I think like the elevator girl have only dropped like drop off kids and you on like the 80th floor and since like there are like actually it's not already been revealed that there are like 100 or beyond 100 floors in total for like the simple cathedral in like the current building members they're only bring the current huge store that kids and you go are trying to like push and open like only beyond that door like the moment they will be sitting that's really sitting in all the front and like pushing open that huge door like the moment they will be opening that door and putting the thing like precisely that precise elevator girl building swords like most likely attacking trying to like launch her ambush attack on 50 and Yuzo from like the other side is like the scenario that I'm going to lifting but like I'm going to get to be like well and fully prepared for such an attack. It's also like the scenario that I'm going to program as a interesting. Especially because like that first elevator girl might have like used her elevator and might have especially after K20 to like was dropped off at the into 80th floor, but she might have gone even to like the floor right above and basically might have had like a different path, might have got down from like that floor right above like the 80th floor and might have taken a different path around about half eventually leading to like the other side of that door to precisely patiently launch her ambit attack on Kit and use it precisely as they will be like opening that giant huge door. It's like the scenario that I'm talking about the and my passenger impression. Okay, so like definitely my passenger impression right now for like that like Alice sitting on that like accessory that Kit and just seeing like I'm considering like that would be like either one of the three possibilities that I'm considering after like that Alice situation I'm considering either that Alice will be like the actual Interstellar Alice with like not even was not having her memory restored at all, like basically patiently waiting there, like construct to make to launch like that up this stealth kind of like attack on Kit 20 and disguising and dropping up in such a way as to like appear as if like she's like that old Alice that you don't knew would like have to give that fake impression that basically she possibly might have like her memory restored. I mean that way to like get like to that way to like launch like kind of like an ambush attack once like to basically that way to lure Kito and Hugo and have towards like Alice and to have like their guard down while approaching Alice so that like the entire night Alice could like launch her like ambush attack. Uh, it would totally launch an unpredictable attack to like quickly bring down Kirito and Yujo. It's like one possibility that I'm considering because like I'm considering by now like the fact that Kirito and Yujo have made it so far into like the center that they might have been like I'm fully aware for like Alice. So like I'm considering Alice maybe like the intention night Alice maybe deciding to like go to that extreme extent of like basically trying to like bring down Kirito and Yujo through like stealth and not like even a straightforward attack. It's like only one possibility that I'm considering. The other two possibilities that I'm considering is like one for like at least likely possibility, which is like for that precise Alice sitting under the tree to most likely be Queenella under the disguise of like Alice. Queenella disguised as Alice, like basically Queenella most likely having used some sort of her high level sacred art spell to like basically turn change her to basically transform into like and do an Alice lookalike to like and that way to keeping such a disguise to like precisely like attack Kipton Yujo while thinking that Kipton Yujo will be least expecting that for like that Alice to be precisely given in the case like to launch such an ambush attack unpredictable attack while Kipton Yujo will be having that guard down at that point. So, and that way, like, that when Alice being like in line, the guy was like the other possibility that I'm preparing, or like the possibility that I'm preparing is for like that is like Alice sitting on the tree, most likely maybe being like the precise elevator girl would be like the Indian synthesis one, would be like the second strongest Indian after like Alice. So like she would be also be able to like use high level sacred art spells to like precisely transform her. Transform herself into like making her look like an Alice lookalike, and basically so that way like launch like a stealthy attack on Hitto and Yujo once like they would be like getting close to like that this guy's elevator girl disguised as Alice is like the other possibility of like whom that says Alice would be sitting under the tree would be it's like it would be either one of these three possibilities. Is definitely my positive impression. Yeah, so like definitely not looking to the impression right now. That's what like in the night and it's like wanting ample time to like basically bask it in like sunlight. Like I'm also it would be precisely by it Alice would be totally referring to Alice for especially my personal impression and that definitely my personal impression is that like it would be especially the soul of like the son of like the virtual world of underworld. I think it's called like soul of so like I'm referring Alice the soul would be totally having that spiritual power of like basically fully of like being able to like recharge and totally absorb like a great quantity of like the power of like the soul of sunlight into like Alice's soul. If like kept in like the rays kept under like the rays of like the soul of and basically so that like at that point like that Alice's soul will be like fully charged up with like soul of powers within it and basically so that like fighting with that charged up soul of Alice would be like making like the Indian Knight Alice be able to like fight with her full potential. That's definitely my personal image. And this is like unlike the last time, like this time, like Kejo and Yujo have made it so far into like the center career. Like definitely right now, Alice would be taking Kejo and Yujo as like strong enemies. Like it would be like overestimating, would be like underestimating Kejo and Yujo, and Alice would be totally seeing them as like formidable and strong enemies. So like this is precisely because of this reason, like reason that Alice would be even asking time to like Kejo and Yujo, so that like she could fight them at her full potential because like even from Alice's point of view that would be what Alice would be think that like in order to like bring down Skip and Yugo she would have to like fight up against them at her full potential or else she might even lose against them. Might be along the line of like extreme seriousness in which like Alice would be totally seen uh, taking and seeing like a Kirito and Yujo as like enemies or like opponents, especially my person theory and such. So like I'm preferring like Kirito and Yujo totally trying to like Yujo like being all emotional in like the presence of Alice. Like I'm preferring Yujo once again trying to like convince Alice, like trying to like restore back Alice's memory, like by saying all the things, memories in like Yujo's mind about like the day he spent with like Alice back when of like their childhood days and everything. But I'm preferring like Udo, pointlessly trying to repeatedly trying to like convince like Alice and Sue successfully tries pointlessly trying to like restore back Alice's memory, but like it's totally failing. But like I'm preferring after like Alice would be like listening to everything Udo would have to say, like I'm preferring like Alice without even most likely without even saying a single word back, like Alice especially right at that moment after hearing everything Yujo has to say, like Alice like slowly getting up and like I'm praying to the because like by then like Alice's soul would have like fully absorbed like the power of like the souls and like at that point Alice slowly walking up towards like Yujo and Alice like putting on her sword and literally challenging Kirjo and Yujo to like the ultimate fight. So, like the scenario that I'm about to bring, and that's at that point like Yujo totally being choked, and because like by then with like Alice not responding back, like maybe and patiently listening to everything Yujo had to tell Alice. Uh, Yujo might have totally felt that like by then like that basically Alice might have had that Yujo's words might have gotten through to like Alice and basically Alice might have gotten her memory back. Might be along the naive kind of lines in which like Yujo would be singing, but like I'm just different once Alice would be getting up, slowly getting up and pulling out the phone. Like at that point, I'm just remembering like you know, probably being shocked at like the realization that basically right now like he has to fight off again along with Kito, he has to like fight off against like Alice, someone that's like so extremely precious to Yujo. Like basically that's like the eventual scenario that I'm just remembering right now in my person to remember. Also, right now, my very impressive that like once like the whole fight against like Alex by the team of like Captain League against Alex will even be beginning like I'm just referring like eventually like the fight resulting in like eventually this time eventually like Lijo actually succeeding in like basically using the short swords on Alex is like the scenario that I'm just referring. But like I'm also referring to be at that precise moment that basically both Kirito as well as like Lijo will be getting that absolute shock of like a twist, but like most likely critical society wants like to be using the short form but like basically and so this guy's will be like probably coming off and it's being revealed to be most likely that exact elevator girl is like the more likely of like a scenario that I'm going to only putting it. It wouldn't be like the actual original Alice definitely my considering so like that's like the scenario that I'm going to only putting and I'm only putting like Tito and Nido at that point would be like come to the realization that there are more flaws upward, like even from like the precise cloudy gardens kind of like areas that they are in, like basically like they have missed out like a different path which leads to like even flows that lies like even up ahead from there. So if when you just openly finding that out and that way like you're totally having ways that just so constantly the elevator girl in the sky that and like basically that's like kind of like the scenario that I'm was interpreting and like that way like you don't give it to being forced to like basically head upward for some and to for them to like eventually having to like face up against Alice while and Twin while they won't be having like any of like the of their like short sword left it's like the usual scenario that I'm just different and nothing to interesting. Okay, so like the thing was very interesting right now is that like crypto would be like currently around like a bunch of things right now, especially my position is that especially the first thing would be most likely like crypto only being able to like view Alice like sitting under the tree from only his single angle and basically he's totally assuming that like Alice doesn't have her soul by her side. Like basically definitely right at like right next to Alice on the other side, like she will be totally having her soul of ultimate soul of power like soul basically basking in sunlight and basically like absorbing all that sunlight energy into the her soul. So like I'm delivering precisely as get to and Hugo maybe about to will be moving closer and closer to as like at that very last second like I'm delivering precisely and to thought finally being like done absorbing like the full energy of like the souls and then straight away like I'm delivering like the precisely as Kirito and Yujo would be trying to like head towards like precisely at that last second as totally launching her ultimate sword, perfect weapon control and attack. Just on Kirito and Yujo's the scenario that I'm going to bring. And that's the scenario that I'm going to bring. And that way Kirito and Yujo just plan backfiring and then the whole Kirito and Yujo team versus Alice fight will be beginning at that point. It's also definitely my question. But I'm still sticking to my personal theory impression that that would be only that would actually not all be Alice, but that would definitely be the first elevator girl in disguise as Alice. Definitely my personal theory impression. And that would be the other thing, and the other area where Kipto would be absolutely wrong again. And that would be basically Kipto the thing that basically that they need to quickly defeat and stop Alice, and then they will have eventually fight off, and then for Kipto even looking towards fighting against the official commander of the Indian United that's in the floor of that's even up from where they are right now. Basically, that's the ultimate commander of the top commander leader of the Indian United that's Kirito would be totally looking towards into eventually fighting. That commander will be precisely exactly the actual true Indian United and this this Alice that Kip and Yuzo are about to that's sitting under the tree that Kip and Yuzo are about to fight would be precisely the elevator girls in disguise. So it's definitely my personal impression. So this would be on these two areas Kirito and in the case of Soda, well as in the case of the identity of the Alice that's basically sitting right under the tree right in front of Kirito and Yuzo. In these two cases Kirito would be totally wrong and that will be the ultimate uh, like um, ultimate twist for Kirito and Yuzo that will be happening. It's definitely my person to introduction. Okay, so definitely my the introduction right now as for the Indian Night Alice currently basically asking Kirito and Yuzo questions and more questions as especially Kirito and Yuzo are walking towards the Indian Night Alice to that the Indian Night Alice that would be all the actual strategy to precisely fight time for soul of soul to precisely fully absorb the energy of the sun so that her thought should be absolutely ready. So it would be totally solely her not at all being embraced or interested in Kyoto and Yujo Yujo making it so far or anything it would be precisely her using her strategy to buy enough time for her soul of thought to source to precisely be able to absorb fully absorb the power of soul of when precisely when it's it should be precisely confirmed for Alice and that's the precise point I'm also trying to actually and quickly quickly pulling out her sword and basically that will be next to her on the other side and basically straight away her launch her perfect weapon control after the scenario that I'm also referring on precisely getting just scenario that I'm also referring and my present impression. Okay, so the name of the impression right now is that even though currently crypto and we will be having their secret strategy how to precisely stop the Indian Alice without hurting her even in the duel with Kirito I'm just saying definitely it would be precisely for even though it took President bring Alice, even though by Kirito saying that it's a fuel, so precisely wants to have all of Alice's attention and focus on precisely falling on to Kirito alone, then precisely Yujo would be stealthily from the sidelines would be most likely using his perfect control apps to precisely that way unfairly stop Alice and considering Kirito and Yujo even going through such extreme extent would be solely due to them and fighting in such an extremely unfair manner would be solely due to them not wanting to hurt Alice at all because Alice is only stretches to Yujo as well as Kirito. So that would be the sole reason for I'm considering Kirito and Yujo desperately definitely trying that unfair approach in their battle against Alice to stop Alice and it's definitely my positive impression. But I'm considering still most likely that attempt to fail is the scenario that I'm looking at. That strategy to totally get outsmarted by an internet analysis is the scenario that I'm considering. And at that point I was separating for it to intelligence it sort has already revealed to have some sort of connection to soul of energy and strength I'm considering and it's it doing the distant past totally unable being unable to handle swords with the creation of it current sword soon after the creation of Kirito's current sword and Kirito while basically practicing that precise sword of Kirito basically Kirito even Bolo sporting like how Kirito back then how during like the Rothcraft Academy days like, of Kirito like if you're practicing with this like current sword and basically sword of his power like getting activated within it causing like Kirito to lose control of the sword like basically that thing that happened way back then was trying to have like serious relevance right now in like as like it was fight battle like duel against like Alice would be progressing definitely members in the convention. Precisely because like I was offering that strategy of Kitto with like Julio using Julio's perfect weapon control art to stop Alice to totally fail and get outmatched by Alice and then I'm personally totally like the whole intense fight happening between and then I'm personally with like a single attack from Alice and those most likely Julio getting like seriously sidelines seriously genuinely sidelined with like you're not being able to like get up even from like the injuries like the scenario that I'm about to bring and at that point I was like to just be like Kirito all by himself having to like stop Alice but like at that point I was bring and still not holding back at all and basically and unleashing all of our ultimate soul and power and at that point I was for Kirito being forced to like basically exactly like during Kirito fight against Fanatio Kirito at that point by then as well Kirito as well being forced to like basically bring out this like ultimate power of his like soul of his like and I'm considering most likely maybe like it might be even if Kirito's perfect control up as well not being able to not being strong enough to like stop Alice was like ultimate perfect one control up power of like the soul is definitely my person so like I'm considering even that I'm considering maybe like a straightforward one attack like with like Kirito's like enhanced armaments get unleashing moves, maybe his like enhanced armament attack and that attack totally being overpowered by like the soul of powers attack of like Alice. So like right as Kid don't be able to lose to Alice and even then like Kid Yujo being on the sidelines and being unable to like do anything at all and at that point. And so like the about to bring a situation where like Kid being about to lose to Alice, but like I'm about to bring at that very last second would be when like I'm about to bring with that sort of race like falling onto like Kid's sword like until that point, like constantly falling onto like Kid's sword. Like at that point, I was putting Kid's sword like soul power like activating at that point, and at that point, finally Kiddo would be able to control the sword without losing control of the sword. Like Kiddo swords like ultimate sword of power like within it, like totally and fully being activated and at that point with that ultimate power of like the soul of that would be like you'll be like totally surrounding Kirito's sword, like basically Kirito sending out like some sort of like an exceptionally offered soul of powered beams from the Kirito sword towards like Alice and that would be like totally even overpowering Alice's sword beam power. It's definitely it was an eventual scenario that I'm doing and that power of like Kirito's soul of beam like being so extremely overpowered that it totally even spiking Alice as well, and Alice taking like kind of like a serious level of injuries as well. Definitely my personal emotion. Maybe like with that attack, like Alice probably going even unconscious also like a possibility that I'm only putting and maybe like with that like I'm considering maybe that most likely maybe even causing like the situation where like Hijo would be totally turning against Kirito and would be totally starting to like totally just like Kirito for like injuring just like Prashant and Gilavoda and it's like that way like Hijo totally having a dislike towards Kirito and like Hijo totally starting a quarrel against like Kirito and such a scenario is also like positive and positive and it's totally going unconscious at that point maybe and Kirito and Hijo still deciding to like go ahead and basically do like the upper floors to like that way be able to like restore back and memory but like even before they would be able to like do that like I'm bring like the minions like them and they would be like right during that time like Kirito and Jojo I'm bring it's like Alice would be most like unconscious by then like after like Kirito's fight against Alice like I'm bring Kirito and Jojo finally deciding to like basically keep Alice in that cloud top garden area so like I'm bring by the time Kirito and Jojo would be like heading off to the upper floors and would be trying to get back like the whole memory restoring item from like the very top house like by the time like even before they would be able to like return and bring like the minion from like the after making it all the way to like the cloud top garden area and like those minions potentially abducting Alice and taking Alice back taking Alice to like the dark country. It's like the scenario that I'm looking at. That as well resulting in like things like Alice when turning and ending up unconscious and everything was like solely from user's point of view would be user would be only seeing that as all that happening like solely due to like Crypto's fault and Alice even being abducted and taken away to like the by the minions of like, the dark country as well being solely due to Crypto's fault would be along the lines like Jujo would be misunderstanding and seeing at that point, and you just only fearing the possibility of like the minions from like the darker tree taking Alice of life, and basically due to that extreme worry and everything, like Yuzo being totally and fully disliking Kirito, and basically like a whole clash, like an extreme quarrel from Yuzo's side towards like Kirito, towards like the post Kirito, it's like an eventual scenario that I'm basically totally putting and still thinking on to another into the emperor. So yes, so like with me not into the person right now as for like according to Alice, like it's being like the second person to have withstood Alice attack for so long, but they're only putting so like the precise Kirito's only like the second person, like I'm considering like the first person that might have like totally not only like withstood Alice's powerful attack for so long, but also might have also awkward and defeated Alice. Might precisely be like the main official commander of like the Last Army main official commander in the United Finland Army. It's definitely my personal emergence. It should be most likely the synthesis ones. Definitely my personal emergence. And maybe that preferred commander might actually be like the preferred elevator girl also like an individual connection of like a possibility that I'm also setting. This is all considering and assuming like the scenario that basically the current Indefinite Alice that Kirito is like totally fighting off against is like the actual original Indefinite Alice and it's not like the elevator girl in the sky. It's definitely my positive ambition. So also like my positive ambition right now, I've got like Kirito fighting Alice to like the point of like basically going towards like the direction of like shadows, like of that area where like the false sunlight is not present and it's like fully shadow and dark. Like I'm thinking that would be like a conscious strategy like put down by Kirito currently. Definitely not going to be active. So it was like Kirito would be like by now would be well fully aware that is like the soul of his power like consistently charging up like the soul of his energy and sunlight and that energy like constantly charging up like the soul of like the Kryptonite Alice that like gives Alice all this like exceptional power. So precisely to like bring Alice to like a disadvantageous like situation to be like the precise reason for Kirito most likely consciously having like totally putting on a fake actor but like he's like being pushed to basically like the dark area of like the cloud of garden. When actually it would be precisely Kirito precisely fighting off against Alice in such a manner with like the conscious intent to like precisely eventually head towards that precise dark area. So that like Alice would be like totally unaware of like basically of like her sword losing access to all that sources and like that basically at that point, like kids were totally expecting and planning for like users to totally be able to like stand up at a sense of like being able to like stop Alice using its like perfect weapon control. This would be like the conscious strategy that kids would be trying to like pull off right now, especially in the present transition. Okay, so like definitely into the transition right now as for like Kipto and Hugo strategy as like looks like Hugo like stealthily running behind and to like precisely attack Alice like I'm considering Alice that full strategy of Kipto and Hugo to totally backfire with like Alice and the totally being able to like send like Hugo trying basically as like Hugo would be like running through like the grassy areas towards like Alice from behind. The Levi was in example, they totally bring Alice would be precisely able to like, sense that, but like Alice would be like totally putting on a fake act in front of Kirito as well to precisely eventually pull out the ultimate twist and trick the both of them, Kirito and Yuto, and basically and bring precisely maybe like a scenario in which like precisely as like Yuto would be like closing in on Alice from and from like the grassy areas and will be about to launch his like perfect control. Like at that point itself, I'm bring Alice like totally turning back and bring Alice totally attacking Alice totally like revealing that he knew that Yujo was coming and basically like Alice attacking Yujo and maybe that at that point Yujo getting totally hit by like Alice's like powerful like source power but like even from like that dark area. But still I'm bring like it would be maybe like Alice attacking Yujo that would be creating like the opening and opportunity for Shifto to be able to like precisely pull off some strategies like so that you stop Alice is like the scenarios that I'm running right now and doesn't get interested right now. Maybe so yeah, so like being a doesn't get interested right now. Yeah, like both Shifto and Alice will be like well sound and safe. It's definitely like doesn't get impression like stuff like both different like Shifto and Alice will be like totally hanging with like I'm both different that enhance final enhance armament attack of Kirito and the collision of like the enhanced armament attack of Kirito and Alice's sort of attack like might have only caused like and with like that attack causing like basically the destruction of all the border walls and everything like basically that might have only caused like Alice to like that collision impact might have only caused like Alice to successfully lose her consciousness. The name of the vengeance. So like Alice might have insulated and unconscious with the name of the realm. So like and Tisto would be like that whole breaking of that side wall of like that central color might have caused like as Tisto and Alice might have fallen through that opening that was created through the impact of that attack. Like I'm different Kipto might have only like both might have been actually falling out of like the central cathedral, but like I'm think like Kipto might have probably held on to like the edge of like the building of the central cathedral, and Kipto might have tried to succeed in like the capturing the unconscious Alice as well, and that way preventing Alice's fall as well. Definitely, that way Kipto might have saved Alice. Definitely, but like Alice would be unconscious and the case of Kirito, like Kirito bit only hanging on to like the edge of like center of that building. So like I'm remembering Kirito like struggling his way into like especially eventually finding a way in one of like a window like area is what I'm referring of like the center of the building like in like the lower floors where like Kirito would be like especially being able to like enter that way, enter back into like the center of like the scenario that I'm delivering, along with that, like the scenario that I'm delivering. And as for like Yujo, definitely I'm reciprocating like Yujo only going crazy. Just like even like the sidewalk being like restored back, and that way like automatically restored back, and like Yujo only being unable to like realize or find out as to like what exactly happened with like Hito and Alice have to like if they survived, are they hanging on like the edge of like the building or like have they fallen down to there. That's like basically with like the extreme uncertainty, like you those it only uh extremely going extremely like would be like feeling unstable, definitely not to you joke it only going crazy and I'm preparing like you joke totally like extremely confused and extremely like confused as to like what exactly to do and I'm preparing like you joke especially heading back to that place elevator. It's like the scenario that I'm preparing and Hugo would be like checking each of like the floors. And I'm preparing that elevator girl to be precisely present in that elevator. And I'm preparing like Hugo totally checking like telling that elevator girl to like basically to like stop at like stop and at like each of like the floors below like the ATS floor and basically like each of the floor like Hugo would be like frantically and worriedly like searching. It's like get to an and if we are able to like make it inward like basically by hanging somewhere basically as like basically and for you don't be like searching any slots like even searching for like windows possible windows where like through like you will be able to like look on the outside towards like the outside outline of like the outside of like the center gather building to see if like we can find like into any so like so putting on one side like you don't only frantically searching that way and then was even before that like Kitchen might have only been able to like pull Alice into like the central cathedral building into like one of like the floors a bit below that ages floor and basically right then I'm cutting precisely as like Tiptoe would be like thinking about like what to do with like the situation with like Alice being like unconscious and all that like and then delivering like that precise sword the precise sword would be like certainly present with like user so like I'm delivering like Tiptoe totally think that basically to since like I'm just unconscious like as soon as possible Tiptoe has to like find user and get that sword so precisely that way link Alice to Cardinal and that way like and so like I'm considering while capability all this like I'm considering also like from like the whole fight and all the collision and all the like all the collision and all the impact and everything like I'm considering Kitcho by then will be like kind of extremely seriously exhausted and maybe a bit injured as well. Especially kind of like seriously injured as well. It's like the scenario that I'm considering. So like right then I'm considering the precise minions to like precisely show up. Like the minions from like the after precisely showing up, and then the different crypto all by itself would be like trying to like stop the minions that they would be trying to like abduct Alice. So like I'm considering them totally abducting Alice and them totally like taking Alice away. It's also like the scenario, and I'm considering maybe for like a remote possibility of like maybe the precise minions precisely exactly infiltrating into like the precise central cathedral might be precisely maybe the through their intent with like them in search for precisely exactly Alice for them to like they might have infiltrated into like the central cathedral building to precisely exactly abduct Alice is also like a possibility that I'm considering maybe like it might have been precisely that dark might that basically Alice had seen the first time back when Alice was a child and Alice had accidentally stepped into like the dark tree. That was a dark night that had like basically raised his arm towards like Alice. Like that might we might have some sort of a connection to Alice. Like maybe he might be like Alice's like father. It's also like a possibility that I'm only playing. So like maybe it might have been it being like him that might have even sent like the minions from the darker trees to like precisely bring Alice after like seeing Alice at that point. Like he might have ordered like the minions and maybe like the minions attacked on like even like the attacks of like the minions in like the human suffering might also be like maybe the attempt to like basically them looking and searching for Alice is also like a possibility that happened. So they might have finally figured Alice in present in like the central cathedral building. So that even possibly being like the reason for like the minions confederation to like the central cathedral building is also like a possible scenario that Emperor is only putting an opportunity to Emperor. So Emperor trying to leave the minions right then like basically like affecting Alice and Kircho that badly exhausted and kind of injured Kirito like totally unable to like being unable to like stop those minions. So like Emperor precisely as that those and Emperor bring that as Kirito be like even with like the uh, with like what little left of like the energy Kirito would be having it and then Kirito even tries to like stop the minions would be like totally there will be a great number of like minions and they would be like easily attacking and only overpowering and defeating Kirito and Kirito will be badly injured and getting silenced while Alf will be abducted and taken away. And I'm also precisely as the minions would be like affecting Allison would be like going back down to like the lower floors. And considering that possibly when like precisely Jujo would be like searching that precise exact floor and precisely would be finding shockingly finding Kirito all by himself badly injured and exhausted. So like right then Kirito revealing to Yujo as to like what happened to Alice and as to like Alice being abducted by the minion from the dark of and at that point I'm just going to Yujo being like totally and extremely worried for Alice that I'm just saying Yujo being adamant that basically he's going to like he does that I'm just bring Yujo at that point not even caring about like basically heading up to like the top floor of like the central cathedral and getting like that false memory restoring item or like bringing down the administrator or something like at that point the only thing that would be even concerning Yujo at all would be like the protect safety of Alice and Alice alone. So I'm considering Yujo like maybe like Kiddo at that point telling Yujo that we like we need to like hope for the best that like that minions doesn't Alice like that we get enough time to like basically go up to like the top of like the central cathedral and basically like get that memory restoring item and even defeat the administrator and then for them to like go after like and save Alice like might be like Kiddo's plan at that point but like I'm considering Yujo totally not totally agreeing to that Yujo wanting to like straight away head off to precisely save Alice head off and chase after those minions and to the same value. So like maybe that's like a possible scenario that I'm considering, or like I'm considering like you just well Keshav being on the same page and them deciding to like abandon their like whole task of defeating the administrator as well as like getting back the memory of storing item from like the very top of the and and instead like them deciding to like chase after like the minions. And I'm considering by the time Kirito and Yujo will be making it to like the and I'm considering like the like exact white dragon's cave that Kirito and Yujo along with Alice had entered back there when they were children and slightly the first time Alice had like even accidentally stepped into the dark page and considering like a kind of like a nostalgia kind of a situation right then with like 20 users they would be like chasing after like the minions like by the time they would be making it to that like right dragon's cave and like they would be like precisely noticing would be by people only at that point that they would be seeing like the minions like precisely that had up like the Alice like Alice like them taking Alice and passing crossing like the dark surface like the scenario that I'm different. So like right then kid and Yuzo chasing after them into like the dark surface. It's like the scenario that I'm different. But like I'm different the moment kid and Yuzo be entering with the dark surface like to be totally dark and at that point like all of a sudden like Kiddo and Yujo would be like totally missing like those society minions like which would be like fox or those things like they would be like all of a sudden like after entering the dark surface like would seem as if like they those minions have something after they have vanished. So like at that point Kiddo and Yujo like totally left in like a puzzle like situation with like having absolutely no idea of like where exactly to head to like this dark in this exercise and start to pray to like exactly where to look for Alice and where to find Alice. Like basically, it and user that one have no idea at all, and them basically like basically frantically searching, deciding to like search through like the dark page, hoping to like find Alice. Like that's a scenario that I'm talking about the opinion that I'm and my total remembrance of that like that whole journey of that Kirito and Yuzo that was not exactly happening at that point in like the last three. About preparing a good like early aspect that journey would be progressing eventually in like the run of preparing Kirito in order to for Kirito and Yuzo to like free like say David Knight Alice like basically from like and after preparing I think of like Sanjam taking like Alice like away and up letting Alice like Campbell preparing Alice would be like most likely maybe like in like an important like a state by like the best last night. If the player is in the real match. So like eventually for like Kirito to like to be able to like get and user to be able to like free and like end of the button Kirito or Yuzo or like a Kirito having like one of the fun fight against like that for first last night in which like Kirito will be having to like defeat that last night in order for Kirito and user to be able to like get back Alice. It's like the eventual scenario that I'm talking about and my positive impression.